everybody. Welcome to the Chaos Alchemist Podcast. Almost forgot about my own fucking podcast name for a second there, but I am Steve McHale, joined with Raylan Heck from the Sovereign Savage. Thank you so much for being with us, Raylan. Glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you. You know what, man? That right there, that's how my brain works as well. So we're all uphill from that. Like, be like, man, what happened?
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I should probably say, what the fuck is the name of the podcast? Oh, yeah, that's it. Okay, good thing I...
Name is awesome. So you at least got that going for you, man. So
Right, we're on a good foot, so...
it's awesome. Steve, thank you for just even inviting me, giving me the opportunity just to be able to share anything. I know when we connected last time, just a lot of it just seemed in alignment, and able to just talk at like 10 o'clock at night for like 2 hours. So I love those opportunities. But yeah, Sovereign Savage, I run a men's formation movement online, and so, but like really, I'm from Wyoming. I got an amazing wife. I got 2 daughters. My wife's a stay-at-home, so she has to take care of all of us, which is quite a bit. One of my daughters, she's like an Olympic lifter nationally, or actually world ranked, like 6th in the world. But then she just recently graduated, got married, got a house, got pregnant. Like everything is like all within like 6 months. So
Nice.
got that going. So, but he's awesome. Son-in-law is super awesome. And then my youngest daughter, she's 11, and she sings the national anthem. She's super patriotic. And then at the same time, like wins, beauty pageants that she's in, and does jujitsu. So I feel super blessed, like, where I'm at in life, so compared to I was before. But Army Ranger, back in the day, I did 10 years in the military, which was awesome. I loved my time in, once in Afghanistan, twice in Iraq. And then I got out, and there's all those things that happen in the military. And then, I mean, kind of, I'll even share like a little bit, like once dealt with all the stuff in the military, but then I also lost my mom, my dad, my brother, in a double homicide suicide that my mom committed. And so there was this whole deal. And I still got out of the military, honorably, but I got out, and then life just fell apart. And in that darkness, in the depth of hell, and experiencing all of that, then 10, well, now it's really been 18 years later. But that's why I just have a heart for men. Nobody was willing, nobody could really sit with me. People at church, my wife would always take me to church. Her alcoholic, husband, like, take me to church. I could never connect with anybody. Nobody really would sit with me in my darkness, especially not, maybe on a Sunday, but not any other day of the week. And so, through my journey of doing this, for the past 6 years, I sit with men every morning. Like, we talk every day within the group, the men, but I run a men's formation movement online where we meet basically 4 to 5 times a week in the morning. Everybody gets up, and it's interesting because some people call it a men's group, but it's really not experienced like a men's group. You could talk about business, and it's not just about business. You could talk about spirit and all of that, and it's not just about that. So it's just this whole deal. Bunch of men just coming together, man, just seeking truth, man. That's really, it's probably kind of sums up my life, man.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. I'm really grateful that you're doing that for men, because it's definitely a hard space. Like you said, trying to have somebody show up for you, and nobody willing to, and now you're being that person for everybody else. And as well as, I guess, everybody in your group showing up for each other, right?
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah, it's interesting. To get out of bed that early in the morning by choice before you have to go into the chaos of the world. You know, men have to go to work, but to be able to get up, choose to be up, it's interesting. And even the men, that's what I honor the most is there's ones that come here and they grow here and they leave, and that's fine. But then the ones that stick around so that they can still keep growing themselves, but to be there and listen to the other men and being able to be alongside of them in their darkness and encourage them. And so there's, you're right, man. That right there is the coolest thing in life. Watching men transform and then other men truly being able to see those men, love those men, like encourage them, and they're just there for them. It's awesome.
Are is it more like veterans, or is it kind of like everybody, or how does that?
It's everybody. It's interesting. I love watching it because it is a mix of everybody. And sometimes you think like the military guys are going to be like, they're like the best and it's going to be the hardest. And if we just lead these other patriot people, then they'll be awesome. And it's not like that. It's not. The military men have their experiences, which is awesome. And you have the businessmen in their whole culture. And it's interesting because us veterans are actually stepping more into their culture than trying to run like some military thing. Like, so it's a blessing all around. So no, both. And some of my, it's more of like, like when you find a seeker, when you know somebody's like truly seeking in their life, they want to be better. That like that's a man thing. That's not like a veteran or a patriot type of thing. And that's what I truly see in the ones that you kind of would be like, well, I wonder, like spiritually, their spiritual resilience and who they are really shows through, and they end up being kind of the most consistent, whether they were veterans or not. It doesn't matter. Very consistent. I say, I would go to battle. Most of these men at the beginning, I fight for them. I go to battle for them, even in like the spiritual realm or whatever, right? And then most of these men now, like I go to battle with them. It's just what we do, and it's amazing.
Yeah, if I'm understanding, from doing that, you mean by going to battle for them, it's kind of like holding that space, like while they're trying to, like you have to be that, um, not necessarily like full positive, but that you're trying to get them to be that their own hero, right?
It's a good way. Yes.
Like you hold that space while they step into it, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. It truly is, right? Being able to hold that. I know you hold space for other men, right? And that opportunity to hold that space for them. And I say going to war, going to battle for them, like in the reality realm, it's like, oh, you're going to use a gun or you're going to do that. And the spiritual realm, I believe there's a lot of things that are the same, but they're kind of almost opposite as well. And so if a man can see me living this out, but I'm just living out what he already sees in him. And if I can be consistent in being that man, and he can depend on me just to even be there consistently, then he can also see that he can be consistent. He can be like I encourage these men like that to me, like to encourage them because we destroy ourselves, man. Like,
Yeah.
like
It's
all the time, even now, something's trying to destroy me and get me off track. And this culture is created and built and structured in a way to not for us to succeed. And so if I can be that consistent man now in all of those ways and any, whatever he needs or whatever he sees, and each man's journey is his own, if they can see that now inside of me, just because, man, God has just changed a lot of those things. That's what I'm holding that space so that they can see a representation of what they already know internally that they're already getting called to. It's confusing because this world tells us not to believe in any of that stuff and almost makes you feel crazy. And that's why I almost killed myself, right? Really, like, the world almost was kind of telling me like this internal stuff or things on the spiritual realm weren't real. But internally I knew it was something. Either I'm crazy or something's real. And now I just know, like, yeah, I'm good with being crazy. And
Right.
there's a lot of crazy people out there that just want to be better, you know?
Yeah. I feel you, man. That's that knowing, like you said, you don't have to see because you can just feel it. And you know, like when you talk about, taking your what so I know for me personally, what kept me, so what was it for you that kept you from like just taking that fucking, you know, final leap, I guess, into giving up?
Yeah, that's it's interesting because that's what my mom did, right? She took everything, like took literally. And at that time when she done that, I had a 2-year-old daughter. And it was 2 days literally after my daughter's second birthday. And so for 8 years to live in hell. I mean, I think it's hell here on earth. We're experiencing, if you just close your eyes, you can experience a vastness of eternity that you can go in any direction in as dark or as light as you want or feel called, and to seek out. And when that darkness is comes upon and then you still consume that in reality, and I could see it inside of me, the darkness inside of me as well, the same experiences, the same paranoia, like it's a family generational curse. Um, that was difficult for a long time. But I think it's interesting because if I was to joke around about it, like I'm just too stupid to quit. Yeah, and but there's that whole other thing, like, you see those around you and you want to do something for them as well. I wasn't willing to pass that on to then yet my wife and my daughter. And so I could see at that time my daughter, the joy of that, even though I was doing like crystal meth and be disappear for a weekend and destroying my family. I could see the consistency and the love of who my wife was, like this solid anchor of a person. And she would take me to church, like, just be better. She loves church. And it wasn't like that. It's like you hear people talk and throw verses at you and tell you to get better. And it just didn't feel real. But my wife, man, and there was others that were actually outside the church that loved me. I had a therapist, a meditation specialist, a Reiki specialist, food and digestion specialist, chiropractor. They all came around and just showed me love. Like they were love. They gave their time as long as I showed up. And my wife was consistent in, when I say in when she was consistent, I could see Christ. I could see her consistency in truth and in love. I could see that right there, her living that out. Um, that right there changed my heart. Like I had to question, why am I such a freaking jackass? Like, it's wild.
Yeah.
People, man, people. And that's what I want to represent to others. I just continually trying to get all of that stuff out of me and live out the goodness of those people in my life that I could see what they were doing. But then my therapist would always be like, it's you. You're just see, it's you're seeing. Just let it wake up. Just be it. What are you talking about? Make it sound easy. It's not easy.
Right.
It's simple, not easy.
That phrase has come up I don't know how many times in the last couple of weeks with different people that I've talked to. It's simple, it's not easy. And it's true. Like you just, you know, all the things it's like, you know, the things, right? You know what they're saying, you know what people are telling you to do. It just, for whatever fucking reason, it just doesn't click until it does, you know? And then all of a sudden, like what people are saying, oh shit, I kind of understand now. And then, like you said, you want to be that same love, that same for anybody else, and just show up in that way, until it clicks for them.
Until it clicks for them,
right.
Dude. That is solid. It's funny. You were talking about in one of your other podcasts, really about them. The biggest thing is being consistent and having like some kind of schedule or consistency or any of those things is what you was pointing towards. And you were like, you don't want to be consistent in this, but look at your freaking schedule. Look at what you're being consistent in. Is garbage. I couldn't see that. Nobody could, like, my eyes were not open to how consistent I was into just garbage. Even Army, Ranger, still being, doing those things in the military, you can function. It just, the internal struggle until you really start to look at yourself you don't know, you don't get it. I was stuck there.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that was a fairly new revelation as well. Like you're saying, you have a schedule. It's just you don't see it as a schedule. Like every day you wake up at whatever fucking time and you do the same things over and over and over. You go to your job, you do the same things at your job, and blah 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 blah. That's your fucking schedule. You might not believe it to be. And then when you talk about in the military, yeah, we could do all kinds of shit on, no sleep, drunk as hell, and that was our schedule. Like, all right, fucking everything's wrapped up at 16:30, go to your room and fucking drink and fuck off until God knows when, and and be up at 5 a.m. to fucking PT.
Miserable at times. It's wonder that we could even get that stuff done. There's no way. I would die if I had to show up at PT still wasted. There's no way right now.
but think of the things you learn about that though too. Like honestly, something, not a great lesson to learn, but something that I did learn was like, you show up at 5 a.m. to fucking run 3 or 5 miles and you're drunk. You're not drunk by the end of it. Like
you're doing better.
That shit, yeah. Or you're hungover. Like you actually feel good by the end of it. For some, like whatever the fuck happens, like that happened multiple times for me, and it always blew my mind. Like it sucks going through it because you feel like shit. You don't want to run, but
yeah. You start realizing like, I wonder if I wasn't tearing myself down and I showed up for myself, I wonder what would be possible. Yeah. It's like, life completely radically changes. Yeah. To be able to choose, that's the biggest thing I always said, right? When I got out of the military, like, hell no, I will never get up early again. I will not choose to do that. There's no way that I'm running and doing PT in the morning. And that's literally my schedule now. I wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I start my day. I do Bible recently. I'm on like day 82 or 83, something like that. that's not me. There's never, like, I never could have done that. But now it's like I've been able over time, one small little thing added, one little small thing added, one little small, and it blows my mind because I get up at 3:30, do that, prepare everything for the men that are going to be online. I go and run, which is stupid, but I do it. You know, we do the PT stuff, everything that they were trying to teach us in the military, and we did that. I that's why I structure my day from 3:30 in the morning till about 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. It is, if I could do that, and if they could make me do that in the military, and I said yes to them, why would I not do that for myself? And that's been a long shift over many years. You know, I've been sober now 10 years. I've been leading, kind of just being the knucklehead that keeps showing up in the morning for 6 years to do that. So it's but that's the hardest thing, right? Show up for yourself for long periods of time, even though it doesn't seem like it's working.
Absolutely. Especially when it seems like it's not working, because that's when it's working the fucking most. Because like you said, you're literally installing, and I made a comment on a post today about this concept of shit, what the fuck was it? Were you talking about, you know, okay, it was addiction. It was, somebody was talking about addiction. I was just like, everybody's an addict. Everybody is an addict to something. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's drugs or sex or fucking the gym or caffeine or food or dopamine. Like, we all are addicted to something.
Yeah.
Now, some things may be better than other things, right? Obviously, there's functioning alcoholics, and that doesn't make it, you know.
Makes me jealous. No, I'm just, I couldn't
but to be fair, like, there's people that can. Now, is that a great way to go through life? That's not for me to fucking say.
Not me now. Yeah.
But also, there's people that you're always, it seems like when you choose a new habit or a new addiction, it's out of letting a different one go. So people give up, you know, drinking or drugs, and then they become addicted to going to the gym, you know? So it's kind of like just embracing the fact that that's just a natural part of being human, is we have addictive personalities. It's just what you decide you want to be addicted to.
Yeah.
And whether those things are actually going to benefit you or not.
It's a good trade out, right?
Yeah.
For better things. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
you're right.
So
Yeah. I love, like, for me in my journey, like, I am that, right? I can be just addicted to whatever. And since I get addicted, or like another one with men, I believe, is just hyper focused on one thing, hyper fixated. I wanted to be the best alcoholic there was. And it was just like this, it didn't work out very well. You get me hyper fixated on something else, it makes my life like, and now I'm choosing something over time that's better. What was interesting though, when I look back, and I didn't know what God, the universe, like whoever's listening, like for me, like knowing that there was a God, finally, even though, because I was pissed off at him. And then if I'm pissed off at him and I am fighting that situation, I'm fighting something, fighting that, then there's got to be. So I finally just was like, okay, cool. He kept having me get rid of those habits. And what was interesting in my journey is it took many years to get rid of a habit, to get rid of a habit, to get rid of a habit, only to realize that what I try to do with men here now, over and over and over, is men are always, I'm addicted to this, I'm trying to get rid of this. If I just get rid of this, life would be great if I just got rid of that. It's really, if we can clean up the internal parts that you're trying to cover up with all of those things, it's really like the Bible says, it's just simply a heart issue. It's a heart issue. It's a desire issue. My flesh would rather do this rather than, man, we're called to carry a burden. Like, we're called to take on responsibility. And men in our culture, we shy away from responsibility, and that's that part. If we can really, for me, when I finally realized, like, you just led me for like 10, 12 years to show me that it was a heart issue. Couldn't you just help me understand it was a heart issue? And then all these other things just disappear. Like, I don't desire those things anymore. But he's like, no, you're an idiot. You have to go through the long struggle, but even in that, because it took me long periods of time, that's why I believe he's giving me this opportunity to speak in a way to men, not elegantly, not with this whole full of charisma and all this, but to be able to try to connect with them and communicate my suffering in that. And then they're like, yeah, we start to get it,
Yeah. Well, I mean, going back to what you were saying, like, I fully agree with the fact that life is either heaven or hell. It just depends on what you choose. So, and one of the things I like to tell people too is, like, if you've been at rock bottom, right? Everything is duality. So there is an equal, like, level of that on the opposite end of the fucking spectrum.
Yep.
So don't you want to see what that looks like? Can you even, like, for me personally, when I'm at rock bottom, you can't even perceive what the fuck that looks like.
Mhm.
And even now, in the great place that I'm at, knowing that there's still something more, like, trying to actually visualize what that looks like is crazy. But again, then you realize that, well, it can be whatever the fuck I want it to be. Literally. It's just based on the choices that you make.
Yes.
And
You do. You get to create that. Like, whatever it is, if you create that, if you see that, if you create that, and I'm not saying in that manifestation, if you just sit in the place and manifest it, but if God gives you, if the universe gives you a vision and you just stay with that and nothing can rip you out of that, you just wake up every day, obsess, like, I'm going in that, going to what? I don't know, but I know, that, and then it's created in the movement.
yeah.
And most people want a promise and a guarantee before they even move. And you won't get there doing that.
Well, I think the guarantee is that knowing, like, and so, like, are you able to discern between, because I've used this terminology before, you have your thinker and your knower, and most of the time we're using our thinker, but that's what always second guesses, like, that's the thoughts and the mind and the ego and stuff that doesn't really understand or think things are possible and limits us with everything else. But when you really sit and meditate or whatever, and can feel into that knowing, you just, there's no way to explain it other than, right?
It's like when people talk about love, or you want to get married to the one, it's like, and it's so hard to communicate. Like, that, right? And if you haven't experienced the knowing, then you just don't know. Like,
Right.
But
fucking tricky bastard.
But I love that, because here's even that, like, Steve, you're pointing to, like, the place, like, meditation. Like, are we going to get into this weird stuff, Steve? Like, like, I don't know. I'm kind of getting uncomfortable, but it's not mystical. It's not magical. You start to find in the meditation part, that you can see your thoughts, what's happening, what you're sensing, what's your emotions, what do you feel, sense, know. And the thinking that you're talking about for me is watching that, but there is that, it's a knowing that you know. Even if I was try to figure it out, I know that I know in even a 0.000001 of a second. I know the depth of that. I know the story of that. And so I honor that in meditation, but even through the day now, this is my constant thing, is to be in a meditative state. And I'm an idiot. I don't like, I'm talking, but it's not perfect, but it's the idea that I want through my day, is to honor that part. Most men, when they step into something, I will die for this. I will carry this cross. Lord, if you just give me this big thing, then I'll do it. And again, it doesn't happen that way. It happens in all of a sudden one choice, that all of a sudden that knowing, that voice says this now. And we go, no, I don't know. I'm not going to honor that. And then you go to the next part and it seems something so small. And you say, no, like, you want me to stand up and do that right now, right here amongst the people that I don't know? And he's like, yeah, you don't even know them. What's the big problem? Like, it doesn't affect you at all. Like, no, but it's embarrassing. Embarrassing for who? What? Like, just honor the voice. Just do it with this clear obedience. And to honor that over and over and over, when that voice says something small, yep. And it becomes immediate. And that's the only way. It's not because, I promise you, my life is not because all of a sudden I got smart. I see the most intelligent people doing the stupidest things.
Yeah.
And then inside my heart, I'm just like, but if I just do this, and it freaking works out. I'm like, how, you idiot. Like, how did that happen? You know, it's the knowing, dude. You're so right. It's the knowing.
Yeah. I think you make a good point about the level of intelligence, because the more intelligent you are, I think the more difficult and complicated we make shit. I don't think, there's anything wrong with whatever level of intelligence you are, but it's always made me, when I was younger, I was like always more jealous of, the seemingly less intelligent people, because they just did shit. Like, they just lived life and were fucking happy. And I was like, why is that so hard to do? Right? Like,
we like pridefully don't like want to be in that place. Like, we don't. Like, I wanted that for that. That's the longest thing. Somebody called me, do you want to be stupid like him? When I was real young, man. And I embraced that as like an identity from that guy, and it destroyed my life. I wanted to be so intelligent. And now, even in the Bible, he calls us dumb sheep, and I like, I get it. I'm like, yeah, it's so easy to be stupid. But it is the others that you do see that are simple, or, it's easy to figure that part out.
yeah, because going back to like what we said, life is simple. It's just not always easy. And I think, when you're talking about taking, 10 years to go through the shit, and like, why couldn't it, correct me if I'm wrong. This is just my personal experiences. I think it all just, once you got to that point, 10 years later, where finally, it was just like, you just made this decision. You made this choice, right? It might have taken 10 years, but it all just came down to a final, I'm deciding and choosing to do this now. And so that anything that we do can be, again, that simple. It's just a matter of saying and sticking with that. I choose and decide to do this, that, or whatever it is, because they talk about it takes 21 days to fucking, install a habit or whatever. Well, sure, if you believe that, but how many times have you tried that and it's taken more than 21 fucking days?
Yeah.
Or, for another example that I use for myself is when I stopped smoking. Like, that was an instant thing. I just chose, after sitting with it, figuring it out, why I did it, all these things before I knew any of this fucking shit, with mind and meditating and whatnot. I just figured out all this stuff and I said, fuck it, I'm done. And I just made that choice. There was no 21 days to quit smoking cigarettes. It was just, I'm done.
Yeah.
So, like, does it really have to take that long? For you, I don't know all the lessons that, you had to go through. And that was part of the journey.
Yeah.
To learn a lot of things, obviously. But that's part of the beauty too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's to learn those, like when you say like the choice, it's interesting. Like my first mentor in this type of way, like I definitely had the therapist and I had all those, but it was interesting because I had went through like a 12-week thing, and we'd have a meeting every week, and I would do certain type of work and do those things. And one time I was sitting with him, and I had walked through the suicide. Like I had walked through these things by choice, by going in and being able to see it. And I walked through the part and going all the way up to suicide, and then just not doing it. And being able to see the bigger picture and then know, like, I'm not gonna ever contemplate that again. Like, it's just not a thing for me anymore. It's never gonna be a thing for me. And usually my life kinda had that, that cycle, that the heaviness from my mom, but I had thought about it for myself and being in the military and all this other stuff. It was interesting though, all of that he pointed out, he goes, like, now you actually get to choose. Like, maybe this is even the first time you've ever chosen. Here I am, a full-grown man that has been an Army Ranger. I went to college, got a bachelor's degree. I've Army Ranger, done all these things, sniper, done all this stuff. I'm married. What do you mean? What do you mean made a choice? Maybe for the first time in my life. And I finally, now even 6 years later, to choose. Us as Americans, if I say that to a man, he is pridefully offended if I ask him if he chooses. And he knows with so much arrogance that yes, he chooses. And it's like, dude, no, you're stuck in the same cycle, same rotation. If you could step out, you know that you would choose something different. You say you're going to diet and you don't. You say you're going to be better to your wife and you don't. You say you want a different job, but you don't have the courage to quit and go do something else. You want your kids to love you and respect you, and you want to give them time, but you desire actually to not be around them and do what you want to do. It's this constant escapism, comfort, all of that. So to see that in men now, and I just want choice for them. It's hard to understand. Like, are you choosing? Yes. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah. And like you said, they get, and we all do, myself included, even with some things nowadays, because it depends on whether you've walked through the things or not, right? When you're asked that question, like, it's triggering. Like you said, you get arrogant about it. Well, of course. Yeah. No, like, and that's the first thing that comes up when you have conversations about this stuff, with some people. Some people, very few are really like open, to talking.
Yeah.
And um And that's, I think we talked about this on that long call that we had, just trying to meet people where they are, right? With doing like the beer and breathing thing that I was talking about, like, because otherwise they don't want to open. And it's not to say that it's for everyone again, but if you're at least able to meet people where they are at and just let them have the floor and talk, like, it's amazing the things that can come from just that. And then just be like, hey, are you willing to listen to or try this little thing that I think might be beneficial?
Dude, I'm imagining like what it would be like. I love that because I know what you're talking about. Like at the church, when somebody gets saved and they're in the church and they feel protected by the walls, they're like, man, you can't do that. And I'm like, do you know the depth that I went to? And that's where he found me. But what I picture you, how, like, if I was at that bar stool then, and if somebody genuinely came up authentically and would have looked at me and cared about me and like just being and holding space in the same space, I wonder what that would have been like. I don't think they would have just radically helped me, maybe, but if somebody was willing to be in that moment with me, and to be that authentic, not to still hand me a beer and trying to get me to go down the wrong road, but to have a beer with me and go, hey, I'm here, bro. Like, it's awesome. And that's, if you're calling, that's where I would encourage anybody. If it's your calling and that's where you're at and you're supposed to help these people, and it is to take those people in a beneficial direction, you never even know, even for yourself, that one step of faith to love and see somebody else in that moment, that will take you to your next moment as well. I think those interactions, it's hard to even put into words. Like,
yeah. And it's just beautiful, really. To be able to have those simple interactions and let somebody just be themselves and not, like you're saying, have that wall. Just kind of, I had a conversation like that maybe a month ago at the bar, and the one guy didn't know him, you know, the other guy I knew, but it was his buddy, and we're talking about some stuff, and he was he was kind of opening up about things, but still staying a little protected. And then he had to leave, and at the very end, he opened up and said some things, and he was just like, well, sorry about talking about all this gay shit. And I was like, dude, it's fine. Like, it's what we're here to fucking do. It doesn't bother me at all. Don't, like, let that shit out, don't hold that shit in. That's what's keeping you stuck in those loops, is because that stuff wants to fucking come out, obviously. Otherwise you wouldn't be fucking doing it.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing that you're able to be in that place, right? And to listen to those things. I think for me, the tough part is it has to come out somewhere, and it's going to, in anger, it's going to come out in something, or even when you're taking the alcohol and crushing yourself and crushing it back in there. So when it comes out, they let it out, and then we're taught like to kind of bottle that back in, call it gay, like, all these things. And it's like, damn, dude, like if we just knew what that would be to process that for real, just call it what it is, and move on, we would be better. And instead, those men are able to feel better because of your work and sitting there and listening. And then once you listen to it, then they do their same thing that they did before that wasn't working. Like go hold it, go bottle it back up until it has to be come out again. You know, it's like, let's just do that daily, man. Let's just do it daily.
Right. I mean, just a little bit, like you said earlier, a little bit at a time. You don't have to, eat the whole elephant in one go, right? One bite at a time. And
yeah.
And that going back a little bit to habits, like that's how I've learned changing habits works best too, is you're not, instead of trying to get rid of a habit, which is kind of a negative thing, I've just learned to start doing a new, better habit slowly and consistently. And then naturally that just like takes over something that was a bad habit,
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of, because putting your energy into something positive is always better than trying to use your energy to get rid of something negative.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of keeping yourself in that negative place. Because as soon as you fuck it up or something, is fuck, I fucked it up. Well, if you fuck up something that you're trying to do positively, like, well, I mean, try again next time, right? Like we'll do better next time.
Yeah.
So it keeps it's a lot easier to stay in that positive cycle, and then just let what naturally happens, which is these not so great things that we do just fall by the wayside, because that's just what happens. So
I always ask the question with things like that. There's two kind of things. I say, do you love it yet? You used to just drive people crazy, like, no, but it's always just a question, do you love it yet? When I'm in these things that are difficult, when I'm choosing the difficult, just even in the working out, right? If you're following your diet and you're in these things, and in that moment where it seems difficult to ask, like, do you love it yet? What do you mean, do I love it yet? It's like, no, don't focus even on that. Do you love it yet? Do you love what happens when you stay in this? Do you love what is the process of doing this? If you're only focused on the one miserable part, then it's miserable. But if you focus on the whole part of like, I love being in relationship with my wife. Sometimes it seems difficult, but I'm telling you, it's amazing. Like,
right.
Especially when I'm not doing stupid stuff. And so, anything, whether it comes down to diet, do you love it yet? The other thing that I say that I love that has helped me out in those is love. Love looks like discipline from the outside looking in. And so I think it's tough because in our culture, everybody's trying to sell discipline. And so if you sell discipline, all you got to do is just be disciplined. Just do it. Just be disciplined. And I asked, do you love it yet? Because love looks like discipline from the outside looking in. And Chaco, that sells, just do it. And all these men. But if you look at the deeper part, we can change out the good, the bad, the negative for the positive. On the deeper part, are they disciplined from the outside looking in? Yes. But you know what? When we start going again, what I was talking about before, it wasn't actually the habit or the things in reality or anything. It actually, those men, they're telling you in reality that it's discipline. It's actually, they love it. They have fallen in love with what it is to do that. But if they try to sell love, you can't sell it. And so, but discipline, you can definitely, and that's what, it's very hard. People keep chasing after discipline. I can't do it. Like but if you fall in love with that, it will change your life.
Yeah. It's just that reframe. Like, and how can you reframe that? Maybe not necessarily that I love it, but just as something that I enjoy doing. And then eventually it can, evolve into loving it, because when you were talking, what it made me think of is, doing these fucking Spartan races. The first one that I did with my buddy, I was not loving it. It was like, this is not great. Why are we doing this? We're retarded. Fucking 50 kilometers. It's raining out. Like, what the shit? And then the one I did last weekend on my own, I literally fucking loved it. I loved every fucking second about it because I reframed it into, this is shit that I loved doing as a kid. Like running around outside and climbing up and down on shit and carrying shit and, just fucking off. Like, it's literally just fucking off for 31 miles.
That is so cool, man. That is so cool. How long have you been doing how long have you done those?
I started 2021. It was the first one that I did with my buddy Josh. I dragged his ass along for a 10K. Mm-hmm. And funnily enough, my old ways were still kind of peeking through at that point because I was supposed to be, it was a 5-hour drive to this place to do this 10K race. And the night before, a friend had a 50th birthday party, and I was like, I'll show up for an hour or so, hang out, and then I'm going to drive and just sleep in my car. Right. And well, 1:00 in the morning after being there for probably 6 hours instead, I was like, shit, I still have to do this fucking race. So I drove my fucking happy ass 5 hours to fucking Ohio and got like 2 hours maybe of not great sleep in the car. And then and me and him ran this 10K.
Wow.
So it's like being in the military again, right?
Absolutely. You're like, what?
Yeah. Like, yeah. What a stupid fucking choice.
Yeah. Is that guy still friends with you?
Oh yeah. He's one of my best friends. He lives in Ohio. He's was in my platoon. What's funny too is like when he first came to the platoon, like we were not on good terms. Like we were both stubborn fucking like know-it-alls. And so we would fucking butt heads and just, it was not, but now we're fucking, we're best fucking friends because we got over all that bullshit.
Yeah. Takes a strong to even put up with a strong person. You're like,
oh dude, it's hard, man. But yeah, so I've done them off and on, for the last 5 years. Like I said, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a way to be in nature, which I know that's a big thing for you too, right? Like
as well. Yeah.
Doing shit in nature, doing retreats and stuff.
Yeah. And that's even that part, like you saying to go out and be a kid and do all those things. It's like how much, like when you love those things, like what it does internally for you, it's one to be in nature or do that stuff. I love it. But then again, internally, like, you could do all these other bad choices and even if you sit there, it's like a suffering for no purpose. And then you go out and do something like that, man, it's suffering with purpose, but then also for a greater purpose and just waking up that internal stuff of what it is to truly be alive. Like truly, suffering makes you know that you're alive because it sucks, but to truly step into something that's difficult and then find out how alive you are, that's the good stuff.
Yeah. And that's a great point too. And it goes back to what you're saying about, choosing, your schedule. You choose your suffering. Like if you sit around all fucking day and do fuck all, you're not going to feel great.
Mm.
Well, Yeah, but how much does it fucking suck to go run fucking that far? Kinda, but like it's better for my fucking body, right? Like, and again, we're choosing our suffering. I actually now have reframed that so it's not suffering for me to go fucking run. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know, you can say it's fun to sit there and do nothing, but and I agree. I was in that place for a long time too. Like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and watch TV and fucking drink beer and life's great, right? But there was always that like thing in the back of my head, like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, and then it goes back to what you were saying before about you talk about shit. Well, I want to do this and I want to do that. And well, you're not doing it.
Yeah.
You gotta fucking, you can say you want this, want that, and all day long, but you gotta walk that fucking walk too.
Gotta walk it.
So
Yeah. Yeah, you got to walk it. It's like that part. I could do it if I want to. That is my biggest pet peeve. I do that if I want to. Is like, man, don't even dishonor everybody else that made the choice and suffered through to do that. Like they made the choice and did that. So I don't let my kids, like if you say you're going to do it, go and do it, and then you can say I've done it. And other than that, don't say I could have if I wanted to, because it is true. You can if you wanted to, but you chose not to. And so it's not yours to actually embrace. It's like the stories in the Bible. That's the part. Like there's David that went out and slayed a giant, like with a rock, you know, goes out there as a young boy, slays a giant and does that. And now we take that in church. We go, oh, that's so amazing. And in that moment, they embrace it as they have already conquered their giants, yet they are absolutely fearful of actually what it would take to face it and then consistently face that every single morning and go into that and then actually slay their giant. It's like, no, if I just embrace it that I already done it, and it's comforting in that place. It's you have to do it. It has to be action. Has to.
yeah. Yeah, and how good does it feel once you actually fucking do it? Like, you don't know until you actually do it, until you sit and, you know, is there, I could give examples, but, you know, from your experience, like any kind of phobia, like, have you ever overcome something? Like, for me, needles, I was scared to death of needles for most of my fucking life. And I finally overcame that phobia. And it's such a massive self-confidence increase when you overcome something that held so much over you for so long.
Yeah.
Like what you got?
I mean, I'm a man. I don't have any fear whatsoever. I'm an Army Ranger. No, and they took fear out of me like a long time ago. Absolutely. You know, it's interesting that I say it's freedom because they say like this idea of that truth will set you free. You know, the fear of looking stupid. I wanted to be so smart. The fear of looking stupid controlled me. Once I embrace that, really, I start realizing like, I don't know nothing. And the more that I know, I still then only realize that I know nothing. I am an idiot. Like, and then I go, like, that right there is just so freeing because there's no pressure to have to, what if somebody asks a question and I don't have the answer? What? I don't have the answer, you know, but I got ChatGPT now and I can actually find the answer. It's it's like, just do the next step. And in the military, that was sua sponte. Just do it on your own accord, you know, that. So, people pleasing, man, people pleasing for me controlled my life. And that's the part. And going back to like my mom, is she was a people pleaser to the core. She wanted everybody to be happy. She couldn't, and since she wanted everybody to be happy, they took everything from her and couldn't make anybody happy. And so realizing this place, like, I'm not here to make you happy. I'm not even here for me to be happy. Like, and so that part is setting me free. I tell you what really is the best, right? Like you're asking, like, the joy of what it is there. Like, I get the joy of just being this person. It's difficult, but I get to do that. What I used to be, like, alcoholics and drugs, right? Like, that's the thing. And it cost me a lot of money. It cost me a lot of time. It cost me a lot of relationships. And the high that I love now, this part, I don't have to pay to feel like this. I just got to be disciplined, but I love it. And in that, I am higher than I've ever been, and I get to pass it on to everybody else. Like, I want them to, like, they hang out with me. It's my, like, thing. Not that I'm, like, funny. I'm not even funny, but I want people to just go, man, being in the proximity of that creation, of the passion, of the vision. Like, I want that I can pass that on to you. And the only thing I could pass on was a little bit of drugs, but then we're both paying for it. And then we pay the price, right? It's different. So that's the high for me now, man, is to pass it on and for people's lives to be better. And when I can see that transformation in somebody's life in reality, but I can actually see it in their eyes and the depth of their soul when they speak it, and their soul resonates with my soul, and I go, like, dude, I get it. Like, words aren't even enough. That right there is, there's nothing better, man. Nothing better.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody asked the crazy question, what does this mean to you? You know? And it should be a warning sign. Like, don't ask me questions now, because I'll tell you. Like, you know? Like, I love listening to people talk, but if they asked me the question, and it was 2 weeks ago at a men's event, he asked, what's it mean to, he was asking the group what it means to you. And it means everything to me. It means everything to me because I want to see people. I want, like, it's just there, and we get to do that in a very good way. And it means everything to me now. And I feel that in reality, like, it's like to experience reality and to see people and to be in reality, and it brings this responsibility, you know, about it. And I love that. I used to shy away from responsibility, and that responsibility, there's just a connection in the depth of that. And so relationship for me, and connection for me, like that vibrational part where you just, like, there's so many things that align. I just love that on levels that you can't see and you can hardly communicate them.